was good, you too. It's your boy Spivey got sauce, and today I'm coming at y'all with another reaction video. Now in this video, we got terrible teen twins or victims. This is by Sarian, and it's gonna be her doing makeup at the same time. This is a long video too, it's 47 minutes, but it says terrible teen twins or victims, so I'm thinking this is like a crime or something like that. And are they like victims, or I don't know, we gonna figure it out though, you know what I'm saying? You gotta know, make sure to sub to the YouTube channel. I bring nothing but lit content. Rocking with your boy, make sure to follow me on my social medias. Let's get right into it.
Hi friends, how are you today? My name is Sarian, and today is Monday, which means it's Murder, Mystery, and Makeup Monday.
I knew it was gonna be something about crime. Like, that's why I said in the beginning.
Hey, if you are new here, hi. My name is Sarian, and on Mondays I sit down and I talk about a true crime story that's been heavy on my noggin, and I do my makeup at the same time. If you're interested in true crime and you like makeup, I would say, hey, subscribe, because that's what I do, hey. And if not, don't subscribe. That's okay too, you know? Do whatever you want. Live, laugh, love. Great. So before we jump into today's story, first we have an advertisement. Sorry about that. So let's jump to that real quick. I just want to pop in here because I want to give a huge thank you to today's sponsor, Casetify. Now, if you don't know, I have been using Casetify cases for years. Here's one now. Now, they have the best designs, and they also protect me from, you know, the screen being all cracked and being that cracked phone screen girl. If you don't know, Casetify is the world's most popular tech accessory brand, known for their protective phone cases and global collaborations. They have a case for everyone.
That's hard right there. That purple one.
And global collaborations.
That one hard too, that lava one.
They have a case for everyone.
Yeah,
now, if you're looking for a case that provides extreme protection, you have to get the Bounce case. The Bounce case is powered by EcoShock Impact Absorption Tech and provides 21-foot drop protection. Not only does it protect your phone, but there are also over 2,000 design options. But if your vibe is way more low-key, then Casetify's Clear Case is perfect for you. Now, these clear cases are so great because they're anti-yellowing. Have you ever had one of those clear cases in the past? With these by Clear Case, 15 per story. We'll list it down in the description box down below. But other than that, baby, I'm ready, okay? Because, look, I got my notes here. Yes, I take notes every time I do these stories. I have lots of notes around my house. I was actually thinking about, like, publishing a book or something where I have all my notes. I don't know why I'm talking about that. Thinking about, like, publishing a book or something where I have all my notes. I don't know why I'm talking about that, because today's story is about twins. Yeah, I'm going to talk about twins. I've always been fascinated, personally, by twins because they got something going on. I don't know what it is because I'm not a twin, but you know what I'm talking about. Like, they're kind of, I don't know, they can look at each other and it's like, oh, they just put a hex on someone, you know? Like, they've got superpowers. Well, today's story is not very, it's bad twins. But it's okay. Okay, shut up, Bailey. Let's get to the story. I've had a lot of coffee and a Red Bull, so I definitely have wings. Okay, so today we're talking about Jasmia and Tasmia Whitehead, and these two are identical sisters, identical twin sisters, and they were born on November 27th, 1993. They just had their birthday. Happy birthday. They grew up in Decatur, Georgia, and their mother, her name was Jamaica Whitehead, but she went by the name of Nikki, so I'm just gonna call her Nikki. So Nikki, she was 18, so she was pretty young when she had the twins, and Nikki herself had a pretty rough childhood.
I just want to say before you get into the story, like, you very pretty. Like, I just wanted to say that real quick, because, like, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, she was born to a young mother, and her mother was literally in jail when she gave birth to her daughter, Nikki. And then she kind of, you know, bounced around. Her mother didn't want to really raise her. And also, I just think she was preoccupied by being in jail, you know? So I don't know. Her mother's name's Linda. So Linda had Nikki young. And because of this, Linda let her grandma raise her daughter. So her grandma's name is Della. So, Nikki was raised by her grandma, Della. And when Nikki was 16 years old, she ran away from home and she was kind of just like bouncing around. It was said that she liked to party and have fun and like go out and just do her thing, you know? So, when Miss Nikki had Tas and Jas, she was also young and couldn't, or felt like she really couldn't take care of the kids. So she actually gave custody to Della, which is the twins' great grandma, but Nikki's grandma. Got it? Okay, I know you do. I'm just getting confused myself. So Della was considered the primary caretaker of the girls. Nikki was young herself, and she wasn't really around that much. It was said that she would come and go and make sure to be like in the girls' lives, but she wasn't, you know, the mother. She was seen as more like a friend or a sister, and she would just drop in whenever. And Miss Nikki, she made it a priority to like continue just living her own life while her grandma was raising her kids. And I completely understand, because I mean, when you're a young parent, I don't know what it's like, but I could imagine it being really difficult because you still want to go out and have your social life, but you're a parent. Like, I don't know. So I get it, you know? But it was said that Nikki's grandmother, the one who was raising the kids, she was happy to raise them. She wanted to. She wanted to be in their lives. She wanted to give them consistency and just raise good kids. Della, she tried her best to give the girls a great upbringing. She made sure that they were involved in a bunch of different activities like ballet and music lessons and the Girl Scouts. I never made it above brownies. I was always jealous of actual Girl Scouts. But yeah, they were all involved.
I think this is a pure skill, how you can just like talk about a whole story like so like in detail while doing your makeup at the same time. Like, that's, I don't...
With just activities, okay? And Nikki, the girl's mother, she would always try her best to make sure to financially contribute to the girls' activities, so it wasn't just like all on her grandma, you know? Miss Nikki, she had ended up going to cosmetology school, and she became like a very successful and very like skilled stylist. Like, she was really good at her job, and she made sure that the girls, her daughters, also just were well taken care of. It was said that the girls, like, they always had their hair done. They had name brand clothing, high-end stuff like in the closet. They seemed to be living a very good life based off of the materialistic things. So, you know, that's an eye roll, because it's like, that doesn't say much, but on the outside, it seems like things are great. And then on top of that, the girls...
It's probably like that. No, I think it's like that for a lot of celebrities right now. Like, a lot of them look real good on Instagram, but behind the scenes, they're not doing good. Like, mental health-wise, they going through a lot.
The twins, they were really, really good at school. Was that proper English? Yeah, I don't know. But they were really good students. It was known amongst the teachers and whatnot that the girls were really smart. They studied hard, they did well in school, and they were straight A students. So it was like, they are thriving. So Nikki relied heavily on her own grandma, Della, to help out. Raise the girls, and she never really reached out to her own mother, Linda. She never like reached to her and asked her for help. It was mentioned throughout like the research that Linda had Della raise Nikki, so like Della was technically like Nikki's mother, and Nikki didn't fully trust her own mother. There was a lack of trust. There wasn't much of a relationship between the two. So Nikki saw Linda, her own mom, as hands-off. She never really asked her to be involved at all, and she relied heavily on her grandma. But the situation, I mean, it seemed like it was perfect for the girls. They were doing well in school. They were doing well in activities. They had, you know, all the nice things. They also had a pretty friendly relationship with their mom. Nikki, she would come and go, and they saw her as like a cool sister or friend. not so much their own mother, like I said. It was said that Nikki was a lot of fun. She loved to still go out, meet guys. She had a great dating life. It's just she wasn't the primary caretaker. And if you think about it, like the twins, they also, it's kind of like a built-in best friend, kind of. I don't know. I think that's the assumption we all make with twins, but I don't know. Maybe there's some twins out there who like really hate each other. I'm sure there are. Can't stereotype twins. I personally would love to be a twin. No, I don't think I would like to be a twin. I feel like it would just be never-ending competition. Not that you're competing, but you kind of are, you know? Anyways, Bailey, true crime. Okay. So like I said, Nikki, the mother, she was very social, very outgoing. She had a bit of a reputation being like a bit of a party girl. She liked to have fun. She liked to go out. She liked to, you know, drink and dance and all that stuff. And she also really liked men, you know? Good for her. She was in her 20s, just living it up. And I bring up the men part because later on I'm going to tell you that she had multiple lovers, which is like, good for her. You know, that's a full-time job in itself. But we're not there yet. So, when Nikki was 25 years old, she met a man named Robert Head. I know. Pause for the name, because could you imagine if your name was Mr.
But she found enough to pull it off, though. But that's still kind of messed up, though.
Or Head. Or Miss Head. Yeah. Robert Head. He was 30 years her senior. I'm going to take a moment because I'm going to make a quick little side note. I don't understand that saying. When someone's like, oh, they're 25 years, they're senior. Like, what does that even mean? I don't get it. What does that mean? I don't know, but I said it because that's, kind of that's how he was described. Maybe you guys get it. I don't. And if you don't get it, Robert was 55 and Nikki was 25. Which, you know, I mean, it's your life. Do what you want. But, like, come on. That's like literally dating your dad. But no judgment here, you know. She loved him. Great. We support that. So, Mr. Head was a long-haul truck driver out of Conyers, Georgia. I guess Conyers is like a suburb outside of Atlanta, 20 miles away. So it's kind of similar to where the girls and Della and also Nikki were living in Decatur, just slightly further out. It's not a super big area, and it was pretty safe neighborhood. No, not a lot of crime, just somewhere that seemed like a nice place to raise a family. Based off of what I read, I could be completely wrong, but it sounded quite nice. Like I had mentioned, Robert was driving trucks for a living, so he really wasn't home a lot, which Nikki really, she liked that because her relationship with this Robert guy, Mr. Head, it was open, or at least it was semi-open. He was gone a lot of the time, and I'm trying to be careful with my words.
Yeah, she got to do whatever she wanted, and then she still got the benefits from. I ain't gonna say that though. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel right as a guy saying that.
Don't want to.
You know what I'm saying?
Say that he knew. Some sources said that like it was an agreement, they had an open relationship, and then other sources said that Nikki, she just had, you know, she had Robert, but then when he was gone, she had a boyfriend, you know, which, yeah, okay, you know. I just keep saying, you know, because I don't really, yeah, do your thing, girl, like, okay. But Robert was on the road like 80% of the time, and yeah, so she liked that. Apparently their arrangement worked for them because they stayed together for a really long time. And when Nikki was 31 years old, her girls were then 13 years old. Robert and Nikki were 6 years into their relationship, I believe. And that's when Robert was like, hey, I want you guys to move to Conyers. I want you to move into my house with me, and we can, you know, create our own little family situation. And with Nikki, she was growing up. She wanted different things in life. She wanted to have her kids around and have a sense of family. So she was all on board. Also, Nikki really wanted to have the girls back in her life, and she wanted to be the primary caretaker. She felt like she was in a place where she was ready to be their mom. And yeah, she just felt ready. You get it. So Nikki agreed, and she said okay, and she made it a priority to go get custody of her daughters back, and she was just feeling really excited, like it was going to be a new chapter. new beginning, you know? Plus, Robert had lived in like a nice gated community, so it should be fun. It should be great. I don't know. Some people really like gated communities. They're all right. They're kind of more of an inconvenience, but okay, you know? Okay, so the only problem with this plan is that when Nikki brought it up to the girls, they did not want to move in with this Robert guy. But most of all, they didn't want to move in with their mom. They don't know her as their mom. You know, like, oh, so now you're going to show up and take us? We like our life with our grandmother or great-grandmother. So obviously not going to be too excited about that because they don't want to leave their current situation. But even though the girls were resisting hard, Nikki still followed through and she made it happen. She got custody back of the girls. They all moved out of Della's house and into Robert's home in Conyers. And it was around this time.
They were really trying to make it work with Robert.
Around the move that the
I'm glad I know his name now too.
Their behavior just did a 180, allegedly. So people who knew the girls said that their behavior was like night and day. Just things went really south for the girls, Jas and Tas, and their grades even started to slip, which was like wild because, you know, they were really smart and did really well in school. And they noticed, like at school and whatnot, that the girls were more angry and they were often becoming quite violent. You know? Plus, it doesn't help that they're teenagers, like the worst time to really go through all this major change. I mean, they're not going to be happy about it. Teenagers, huh? Now, Nikki, at home, she's noticing the girls' behavior. And for the first time, she really steps up and puts down some rules. And she becomes very strict. But in reality, she's being a parent, right? The girls, though, they didn't like this because they knew their mom as more of like the older sister party type. So to all of a sudden step up and start acting like a mom was not received well. Okay, they were not happy that this lady who hasn't been around for, you know, much of their life or like didn't raise them was now making all these rules and demands and just, they were not having it. They were not happy. Nay. They were not happy. And you don't want to piss off teenagers because, you know, they're so scary. According to Nikki's friends, her new, like, strict style of parenting was actually more of a natural progression. She didn't want her children to have the same life that she did, having a child young and kind of just bouncing around and whatnot. She wanted them to do better and be better. And she just wanted better for her kids. When Nikki was around 13 and 14, like that's when So,
based off what I'm getting so far, as Nikki ended up moving in with Robert with the kids to have a better lifestyle for her kids, which makes sense. So.
Said in her own life that, you know, she was becoming like a party girl, going out all the time, not listening to her parents, whatever. And now that the twins were this age, she's kind of seeing the same pattern happening with them, and she doesn't want that. So she's becoming more and more strict to really, in hopes, prevent them from being like her, which sounds really mean, but you get it. You know, you want your kids to do better than you did. Hopefully, be better, right? I get it. But when you're a teenager, you do not get that. Well, the twins, they definitely didn't like this. They thought it was very hypocritical because, you know, she's going out partying or was like a big party girl, whatever, and now she's cracking down all these rules on them. To them, it didn't make sense. Like, how are you going to tell us to do this when you're doing the same thing, Mom? You know, just being a teenager. And when you're a teenager, like, it makes sense because you just can't wrap your head around it. But as an outsider looking in, or if you just are an adult, I'm sure you can understand, like, Nikki is doing the right thing by actually trying to step up and set some rules and boundaries. They're important. So Nikki figured that the girls' behavior had changed so much because of all of the change going on. I mean, Nikki figured that the girls were most likely, based off their behavior and stuff, that they were most likely following in her footsteps and were probably using drugs, having sex. Plus, on top of that, they were dropping out of their after-school activities, and they were spending more time with friends or with boys, you know? So Nikki's trying to crack down on these kids, and they are not having it. Like I had said earlier, they really thought that this was hypocritical of their mother, because it was like, Mom, you still go out and have fun. You got a boyfriend and a husband. Like, don't tell me what to do. So I'm sure from their perspective, it's very frustrating to be accused of doing the same things your mother's doing, you know? You get it. Also, there was no proof that the twins were actually living like that, like going out, hanging out with boys, having sex, doing drugs. It's just the assumption that Nikki made, and so she was really trying.
Nikki was probably right, because she knows the characteristics of when you're doing something. You know what I'm saying? So Nikki probably knew that they was probably out there doing their thing, and she knows the consequences to that because she's lived through it. That's why she realizes, or that's why she's setting all those rules, which it do make sense though.
Trying to crack down on them. So that's probably also why they were getting irritated and angry and upset, because if they weren't doing that, you know, you would be upset too. Teens be teenin'. It didn't take long after moving into the new house and the new situation that the girls, they went from being like angry teenagers, like, I hate you, Mom, to actual violent teenagers. To the point where Nikki, if she did something that they didn't like, or set up a rule or boundary they didn't like, they being the daughters, would physically attack her. Like, really beat her. Nikki had called the police like numerous times because it got so bad. One of them was a biter. I forget which one. One of them really liked to bite, and they would bite the mom. Like, just freaking brutal. It got to a point where Nikki had realized, like, okay, maybe I made a mistake. Maybe I should send them back to live with the great-grandmother for a while. And she did just that. The two twins, they go back to live with their great-grandmother for a while. And to them, they registered this as like, oh, so if I beat the crap out of my mom, we get to go back home, you know? So they knew they could get their way if they just were awful to their mother, you know? They wanted to live with Della. That was where their friends were at, their school, stability, and everything. So they were happy to go back with her. They did end up having to go to court for what they did to their mother. But again, they were just sent to live with Della for a while. And yeah, and this is where the power struggle really started to ramp up in the family. Because you have all like these different players with different ideas of how their family should be structured. You had the twins, the twin girls, Nikki, their mom. You have their great-grandmother, Della, but also Linda. Remember, Linda is Nikki's mom? Yes, her. So Linda, she had really not been much of a player up until this point. So she starts chiming in, and Nikki is expressing, you know, everything that's been going on, that the girls are just not adjusting well, and, you know, they're also a little violent and dangerous and stuff, it seems. I'm not sure. But she wanted to have them back in her life. And Linda tells Nikki, like, I support that decision. You need to get your girls back. That's the right thing to do. You need to be a mom. You need to do that. Which Linda, like, really wasn't even around much. So it's like, why are you going to chime in now? But I also can understand why you'd want to listen, because it's like, all you want is just your mom to be a mom. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just assuming.
I feel like there should be a boundary. Like, only go so far to being a mom, and then kind of let them do them a little bit, but have like certain rules. But if they not even following the rules, like, damn, you might have to kick them out. I'm not gonna lie, cause I mean, if they not following the rules in your house, that don't make sense. You gotta kick them out at a certain point. If I say like 18 for real, cause you an adult for real. Like,
I mean that Nikki listened because
I'm thinking like a parent right now. I'm Karen Spivey right now.
Because I don't know. Just maybe she really didn't like the great grandmother, Linda. She didn't like her mom and was like, you need to get your kids out of there or something. But everything's not working. No one's on the same page, it seems like. So the girls, they had beat up their mother pretty badly, and they ended up in court and had to go through the whole court process.
They actually fought her mother, bro, and beat her up. They some bad kids. No, they wasn't disciplined right when they was younger. Like, they didn't get whoopings enough. Like, they didn't get, like... No, you don't necessarily have to get whoopings to be disciplined, though. Like, you can be disciplined just by, like, having rules set to where you can't do, like, getting grounded or something like that. Like, she didn't do that enough because they just crazy. They wild. I mean, I feel like most teenagers be doing that, though. Like, most teenagers is wild because they trying to find themselves. You know what I'm saying? So...
and because of this, they actually ended up with court-mandated family counseling. Della said that the family saw up to 6 different counselors over the course of, like, a couple of months. Counselors would, like, write notes, and it would say, like, this family thrives in chaos, and they struggle to take responsibility for who is causing the family stress. Which, fair. Well, it came out in court. I was going to say, like, aren't you not supposed to make those public? But court. Duh. So the girls end up living back with their mother, and they are beating her up and being very abusive towards her. Nikki calls 911 like over and over again. So like police in the area know about the family and the girls because they're always being called over there. And this goes on for about
that's bad to build a reputation with the police though. When they know who you are, I'd say move. Because now you're really a target for your place is always gonna be hot. Because they always gonna like be in that area circling around your house. So
2 years. Yeah. It's really sad because they really do abuse their mother, Nikki. Like, it's intense and it's just really, really sad.
They should have been got kicked out. Like, that's doing too much. Like, I feel like she should have been way stronger. Like, nah. That's not cool.
But the girls end up going back to their grandmother's house. Della and Nikki is continually fighting for, like, her children back. And it's just a hot mess. Okay, it's a hot mess. After nearly 2 years, one of the counselors that worked with them said that their situation with Della, their great-grandmother, like, even though the twins really wanted to stay there and be there, it wasn't necessarily, like, a better option at all. And that they should be with Nikki, which I'm sure that's not going to go well. So this counselor is telling them that, yeah, the kids should go back with Nikki. That's their mother. The swapping around between families is just causing more
I don't think they should go back with their mother because they both just beat up her own mother. Like, and they did that multiple times. Like, if the court thinks that's a good idea, that's retarded.
Problems. And the family situation was not stabilizing in any way. Plus, the girls, now that they were teenagers, they didn't, like, go back to their great-grandmother's house and were rainbows and lollipops. It was like they were misbehaving. They were getting into trouble still. They were going out, having fun, hanging out with the wrong crowd. Everything is just...
I feel like they should just not be able to go to their mother's house for a period of time. Like, you can't go there for, like, a certain amount of months, like 9 months, and then you can go back, like as a to keep you away, and then see if it works out again. I think they should start doing that in the court system instead of just like, I don't know. That could be a thing because I don't, but
kind of a hot mess, So in January of 2010, the girls, the twins, are now 16 years old, and the judge.
So this was. Okay, this was late 2000s, early 2010s.
Grants Nikki custody of the girls.
I thought this was recent. Like, I thought this was, like, last year or this year.
Once again, which is not a good idea. These girls are pissed. And they know subconsciously, like, not subconsciously, I think they just freaking know, like, hey, if we are mean to our mom, we always get sent back, so that's just what we have to keep doing. So I guess nobody was really happy about the situation except for Nikki, I think. But there was another conference that was set up in like 2 weeks. It was going to happen in January, later that month, and they were going to reevaluate the situation and just kind of see what was really going on.
Oh, so they do that. They do like checkups and stuff, and they probably see how things are going.
Dig a little bit deeper, but Until then, the girls had to go live with their mom, and it was effective immediately. And Nikki, she was doubling down. Not only did she have the girls move back in with her, she actually pulled them from the high school that they were attending and had them start at a brand new high school. Can you imagine? So, like, you're 16 years old, you're...
Alright, I'm gonna pause right here. We're gonna have a part 2 to this, y'all. This is actually pretty interesting, though. I don't really watch videos. A lot of, makeup videos. You know what I'm saying? I like storytelling and stuff, but this is a very interesting video, and it helps that she's pretty, so it makes it easier to watch. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, we gonna it's crazy though how Jasmine and what's her name beat up Nikki like multiple times, bro. Like, what could have caused? It's probably just because they didn't want to follow the rules for real. But the mom is just trying to keep them from getting hurt. Like, that's the truth. But alright, look, y'all. If you guys are new, make sure to sub to the YouTube channel. If you're really rocking with your boy, make sure to follow me on my social medias, y'all. If y'all want more content like this, make sure to like and comment. Without further ado, I'm out, y'all. Peace.